All right, it is that time of the month again. We're updating the tier list. This is something I do at the end of the month, every month, just to show what has changed on the JP server. Also, just so I'm not constantly updating this every single week, because I will forget. It is easier for me to remember to do this at the end of the month. So we have 4 servants updated. One servant that actually got a buff, and then 3 new servants. We're gonna start off like really quick. It's Mash. Mash is the one that got the buff, and it's her MP while in Ordinox. Mash has gotten so many buffs. Like, has gotten 2 buffs in the last in the last half of the year. She got the skill buff that drops stars, which truly makes it so, like, there's so many things about Mash that just makes her like really good. Like this here too, the bond points, the fact that she drops 30 stars now, and now her MP is buffed. It gives an attack buff, but unlike the original Lord Camelot, which was a static 30% attack buff for all your allies except Mash, this new Ordinox MP buff gives a scaling attack buff for the entire party, including Mash. So Mash has already started to be built up as a DPS. But her MP, the base effect, still is not as good as the Lord Camelot. It's not. The base defense is still 30%. Well, this damage cut is not hit based. This is like, for me, this is always going to be the pain point with Ordinox. Just like, there are very few situations where like this is not going to come up. Like, I guess the only situations is if you're using her with Castoria, and then Castoria is like constantly getting overcharged so that she's not getting hit, and she just starts stacking this up. But eventually, like, there's an issue with that, is that like Castoria isn't going to run out of it. Like, if you're playing it optimally, she's not going to run out of some defense. So these stacks aren't going to matter. I kind of don't want to change Mash. I think Ordinox is fine at A. Like, technically, I could elevate her up to EX. I could. But I don't. I still like this one more because her role is more definitive. This is support / sub DPS, and when Mash crits, she crits hard. But I don't know, like, this is her as a support, and I like her as a support. But when you use Mash, like, she's 0 cost. Like, someone dies, Mash comes in, she drops a taunt, and then she drops stars. Like, a lot of stars. Like, not as high as Mozart, but 30 stars is nothing to scoff at, especially considering we have Mighty Chains. So theoretically, all you really need is 40. So as long as you gen some stars last turn, you should be good on critting. Yeah. I just don't feel like changing Mash right now. I think she's fine where she is. I think there is still a significant difference between these two. In terms of just like their performance and how they like just function. Like, I think damage cut non-conditional for 3 turns is better than damage cut that is like technically longer but can burn out in a turn. Like, despite this one technically being better at solos, this one would be better at like, this one, if you had to solo, yeah, here's the example. If you had to solo, this one symbolizes art solos. You're not gonna die. It's gonna be long, but you're not gonna die. This one symbolizes like setups, esports. Yes, you don't have as much survivability, but what survivability you do have is meant to set up for more explosive damage. So yeah, mash not changing. Next up, we have Duryodhana. So I would like to equate him to basically being a 4-star Musashi. And I'm saying that even at MP1, he like his damage is similar, extremely similar to Berserker Musashi. Like this is not. Oh, sorry. Yeah, like I'm going for here because Jord does not put Musashi with Oberon. So I'm trying to compare apples to apples. If you put Musashi, because hold up, because I don't think he has MP damage. If he doesn't have MP damage, then he's doing the same shit as Musashi. Yeah, no. But there is the caveat here that he is not this consistent. Sorry. Yeah, like because of this part, the effect res down, he's not going to be as consistent. Musashi has okay, so I have a little bit of a problem with this setup. This is slightly misleading. So the way Jord has this setup is that Musashi is popping her defense down on turn 1, which is also her attack buff. There is a slight issue with that, and that her turn 3 damage is not as good, but apparently Jord thinks Musashi needs this. She needs to pop the defense down on turn 1. I feel like in an Oberon setup you can get away with not popping it. So there's some inconsistency here, but he's close enough. He's close enough. And you, yeah, like this is a little bit awkward. This is much more for a challenge quest that you would be popping this on turn 1. You want the arts res down to stick, which is okay. So this actually is the reason why I wanted him to be compared to Musashi, because his whole kit is, this is not a farmer kit. This is a kit for a boss fight that can do farming. That is literally what Musashi's role is. A boss killer that does farming pretty well. Both of them have awkward starts, so they're looping. But not landing this on turn 3 is going to kill your damage. He is really good, don't get me wrong. If you have multiple copies of him, he will perform so goddamn well. And based on his looping, you might not even need to pop this turn 1 or because it is just 10% gain every turn. It's not 20 like Zenobia. So in practice, you don't, if your looping is good enough, you don't need to pop this on turn 1. You can save this for turn 3. Based on how Jord has this organized, I'm assuming that is how it works. I don't have my Duryodhana leveled on JP yet. That's probably going to be today. We'll do that on stream. Yeah, he is too close in nature to Musashi, and they do different, like he wants to be critting. Musashi is like, if like he's good if the enemy doesn't have like invuls and shit. If they have invuls, he's not, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have anything to combat that. Nope, he crits hard, and that's it. He crits hard and then debuffs. Oh, really, it's all you need for fighting a boss. So I'm gonna put him right next to Musashi. I think they're pretty interchangeable. Musashi is heavily reliant on her art score cards for refund. Duryodhana is trying to crit, not necessarily on his arts cards though. That's the thing about him. He doesn't care what cards he's hitting. Arts cards are just gonna hit the hardest, but he does res down the Quicken Buster if you pop this turn 3. He will get good value from a Mighty Chain. Musashi, not as much. Like, with the release of Duryodhana, I would not be surprised. Chat, you can quote me on this. I would not be surprised if they buffed Musashi's second skill, because they already buffed OG Musashi's hit count. I would not be surprised if they buffed this, made it apply to all cards in 3 turns as well. Because that's kind of what is holding her back. Her other cards don't do that much for her. She's pretty much carried by the fact that she's a Berserker. So yeah, I'm gonna save this. Make this June. Berserker. Copy that so I don't have to change it, so I don't have to do this for other ones. All right, so I place him in A rank. He is very functional, interchangeable with Musashi, but he is not fucking touching Summer Ibuki. He's nowhere close to as good as her. Like, not even a comparison. They are too functionally different. All right, next up we have Bhima. No, Bhima's direct comparison. Off here is Vlad and Enkidu. It's either Vlad's getting moved down, and I kind of don't want to do that, or Bhima goes in EX. Yeah, like, again, you guys can always go to the reviews to get like more like in depth on what I think about these servants. Like, to be fair for all the servants, I don't rewatch the videos before I watch this. I do like take all of them at the same point how I'm feeling, instead of like taking my opinion from here to here. It's just like keep it all consistent. You know what? I think I can do this. I think I can firmly do this. I think his kit is just that much more fluid. The only competition he has that are single target. Yes, sir. Yeah, like Enkidu hits harder than him because Enkidu has a buffed MP. Bhima removes buffs before damage, so anything that, like, he will by default take less damage. If the enemy doesn't have attack buffs, they don't do as much damage. Thus, your supports stay alive longer, your DPS stays alive longer, yada yada yada. Oh, also Summer Bryn. Where did I put Bryn? Oh my god, I put Bryn at C. Oh my god, yeah, that might have been a bit harsh. Where's Vlad sitting at? Okay, like, here's the thing, though. Yeah, like, if you're fighting evil, Vlad does pretty much more damage than Bryn. So, I do stand by this logic. Even, like, in hindsight, I stand by this logic that Bryn should be down here. That she's not functioning as... What? Yeah, you can go to B, and then Bhima is in EX. I feel that's right. There's no other. She hits hard. She does do her job. I'll at least bump her up. She shouldn't be that much lower than these servants. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Like Tom, she shouldn't be that much lower than Tom. But yeah, Bhima EX, his kit is ridiculous. He does all the good shit that you'd want a single target to do. Yes, he doesn't have exploitable mods, but is overcharged. It doesn't show on this list. That's the problem with this list. It does not show. You should, like, damage is really here. So he's at, like, with one stage of overcharge, his damage jumps to like matching Enkidu at base when Enkidu isn't fighting threat to humanity. But threat to humanity is not that common. It's not. Yeah. At the very least, Bhima's calcs for like where he actually sits is fairly easy to do. Like, and if you notice here, the jump between MP1 and MP2 is higher than it would be for Bryn, which is hilarious. I find that very funny. Like, him with a non-buffed MP is matching Bryn with a buffed MP. At least I'm pretty sure her MP is buffed. I'm like 90% sure it's buffed. If it's not buffed, then I can kind of take back a couple things I've said about Bryn. Nope, it is buffed. So my comments stand. He has a buffed MP that does like more damage, like functionally, than a buffed MP without exploitable mods. All right, I am locking this. I feel very confident about this. He's non-conditional while Vlad is conditional on them being evil. Shisho has so many conditions. Yeah. All right. All right. So the last person on this tier list, Kali, Durga. She is sitting in a class of monsters. How is she doing? Well, I like her better than Archer. Off the rip. Like, yes, my Kali is not fully leveled yet. But the thing is, Archer hits like a fucking wet noodle on face cards. Her refund is awesome at MP1. It is great. Thing is, she does enough for farming crash mobs. She does enough. The second that you're not fighting, and also her setup can be different. I'm trying to think how to phrase this right, because I use Archer very weirdly. Like, I don't use Black Roll with her. Her damage ceiling only goes so high because of her base attack. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It can only go so high. She literally is out damaged by over 2,000 attack for this unit. This unit doesn't even have attack buffs. They have arts And they have power mod, they have super effective, they have MP damage, they have every single buff type but attack buff. Archer has, and those attack, like those two of those are conditional. So if you take those away, she has arts and she has MP damage. Well, Archer has attack, arts, and MP damage. Where are they sitting on the damage chart? Oh, Archer is out damaged. And this doesn't take into account if you pop Castoria MPs, because if you do, Durga is going to have 100% attack with the base Castoria. Archer is going to have, I believe, 120. And like, let's just do some math right now. Let me bring up the math. No, this is not exactly how this works. But Archer, 10,500 times 2.2. It's times 1 plus the attack bonus divided by 100. So 1.2. Functionally, this is her attack. Durga, 12,800 times 2. She just scales better. And then when you take into Black Rail and the extra attack that gives to the base, like Archer's base looks like this. Archer's base will now look like this. Archer just is on an uphill battle against Durga. And yes, Archer has the advantage of flooding the field with stars, but the problem is she doesn't buff her crit damage. Does Kali buff her crit damage? No. But the thing is, her MP damage does so much. It does so much that you kind of don't matter. And big thing, she has ramp up. Archer does not have ramp up. Chat, both Musashi, like there are a bunch of servants that need buffs. Archer actually needs an MP buff that will give her a power mod. Otherwise, she's just completely outclassed. On the lower end, Archer will feel probably a little better, but on the high, like the ceiling is way higher with Durga. 23 base. Archer, I believe, is 21. Yeah, like they don't look that different, but again, conditional. This comes up a lot in farming. This part comes up some of the times in finding servants. So here's the thing. Am I moving down Zenobia? That's the real question now. Am I moving her down? The answer to that, no, I'm not. Because this Zenobia that is Kelp is at level 80, meaning her attack goes up. And yeah, just spitballing it, if you level Zenobia like 9,800, her level 100 Grail is almost 12k. So her level 90 should be at or higher than Archer's. So, and that's MP1 Zenobia. And then Zenobia, different from the other two, has crit damage built into her kit, and she ramps it up really quickly. And she has a power mod. Yeah. Zenobia is staying EX. Durga is joining her up there. Archer, You need an MP buff. Badly. And you need a niche. Like, you need, like, she needs something against evil. Give her against evil. Like, she's supposed to be a saint. Give her anti-evil. Like, I'm not as attached to Jarcher as you guys might think. Like, yes, I've used her a lot on stream to farm mats, but that's not because I like her that much. It's because she's the option right now for the way I play FGO. I try to do 6 CE stuff, and their quick just can't do it. I got lucky and got Jarcher. I'm not luring her. I don't think she's good enough to get lured. At base, I think Zenobia is just a better unit. Like, you can have 50 stars all you want every turn, but if you're not doing much crit damage with it, like, what's the point? Yes, you'll, like, it's more sustained, but you're not really doing that much damage. And she wants to be arch chaining, so yes, it definitely helps with spamming MPs, but most of the time you're gonna run supports that, like, are meant to mitigate it. Like, MP spam is, like, good on her, don't get me wrong, but, like, it's not something, like, it's an extra, basically you're MPing like an extra turn, and for Castoria, like, that doesn't matter. She still needs 3 turns. Tamamo might get screwed on it. Like, you might be trying to pop her MP a little too quickly, and issues might pop up because of that. Not bad issues, just like timing is going to be awkward if you're popping Tamamo a little too quickly. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Like, I'm always pushing for, like, more buffs for the older servants that especially have never gotten buffs. Archer hasn't gotten touched. She hasn't had, like, direct competition, because Zenobia needs it does need a lot of investment to function correctly. I'm not going to deny that. But the fact that you grail her, you give her 2 grails. 2 grails, and she performs better than her. It ain't it, chief. It ain't it. It ain't it. All right. We are going to lock this down. And yeah. So, these are the adjustments to the tier list. You guys can just go on tier list maker and I think just search me up, right? That's how it works. Oh. No, that's not how you... Is that not? Okay. So just search up the title. You can't search up my name. I thought that's how it worked on this. I'll try to start linking these in the description. Don't hold me to that. I'm probably gonna forget, being honest. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully next month we get a lot more buffs, especially leading into anniversary 8. Oh boy, is that gonna be a monster of a month. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, comment, sub, all that good YouTube stuff. I'm putting this at the end of the video because I'm really bad about selling out mid-video. So, thank you for watching.